Okay, good morning everybody. So the purpose of this video is we're going to go over some problems on the homework, which is worksheet 2. Make sure you submit that at some point prior to looking at this video. I will be checking the timestamps. And then after we go through a couple of these problems, I'm going to show you some problems on worksheet 3, and then worksheet 3 is due at the end of whatever period you're in. Alright, so the few we're going to do is one of these easier ones. So if we start to the left here, we got log base 5 of x minus 2. So if you want to answer these three questions, you have to know what the parent function looks like. If this just said log base 5 of x, you'd have a vertical asymptote along the y-axis, and you'd be crossing at 1, 0. Well, what happened to it? X minus 2 inside means it got shifted right 2, so no longer do we have an asymptote at y equals or x equals 0, we now have an asymptote at x equals 2. And we no longer cross at 1, 0, we cross at 2 to the right, 3, 0. So that takes care of that. The asymptote takes care of the domain because it starts at 2, not included, parenthesis, and goes to infinity. X-intercept, like we said, 3, 0. Increasing, decreasing, all that means is you read it from left to right like a book. If it starts low and goes high, then it's increasing. If it starts high and goes low, then it's decreasing. This one's increasing. To do another one that's a little weirder, this one. So we got log base 1/3 of x plus 1. I know you guys get all emotional when you see a fraction, but again, we're just, they're numbers like anything else. So knowledge of the parent function is critical. This would normally be at, or have an asymptote at x equals 0. And it's now going to be shifted 1 to the left, so it's now an asymptote at x equals 1, or negative 1 rather. That's going to take care of our domain, the first line, and it's also going to take care of the x-intercept. It's no longer crossing at 1, 0, we're going left 1, so we're crossing at 0, 0. And then as far as decreasing, it's going to be starting high and going low. All right, now to get the other points here, remember we got a base of 1/3, so what do you want in this set of parentheses? You want powers of 3. All right, so you want to ask yourself, like, I don't know, like what would make this a 3 or a 9 or anything like that? Well, if you think about it, if you put a 2 in there, 2 plus 1 is 3. All right, well, how do you get from 1/3 to 3? -1, right? 1/3 to the -1 power is 3. So that means the point 2, comma, so 2, somewhere around there, and then -1 is down there. All right, and you can get a general shape by doing that. Slightly spicier still is right next door. You got something like this, everything's the same. The only thing I'm going to mention that's hard about this one is the x-intercept. It's 5, 0. Now how you're able to do that is, well, what does the x-intercept mean? That's when the y coordinate is 0. So you're going to plug 0 in for y, which is what's happening up here. And we're going to solve for x. So I think I actually have it written down here a little nicer. We're going to move the 1 over, so -1. We're going to divide both sides by -1, so this should read 1 equals log base 5 of x. And then we go 5 to the first equals x, and then x equals 5, 5, 0. All right, and then the domain and the increasing, decreasing is just like we did over here. All right, moving along, trying to graph these things. All right, I'm only going to do this top one. If you have any questions, bring them, probably Thursday. So this thing right here, log base 4 of x plus 6, parent function again is key. It should be along this, right, the y-axis, but it's not. It's going to be shifted 6 to the left, so right there. So this right there. And down here. And then what else do we know? Well, normally it crosses at 1, 0, so now it's going to cross at -5, 0. Now, the instructions say to get at least 3 other points. Let's try to, or 3 points total, so 2 more points from where we're at. This is where the base is going to come in. Log base 4 of, well, what numbers would be nice to have in here? Well, things like 4, maybe a 16. All right, so let's imagine this was a 4. Well, how do you make this a 4? -2 plus 6 is 4. That's pretty nice. So -2 plus 6 is 4. And log base 4 of 4 is 1. So that means the point -2, comma 1 is on the graph. And there it is. We want one more, all right? What's another power of 4 we can do? Well, how about 16? How do you make this a 16? Put a 10 in there. So that means we got 10, comma, and then what's the other coordinate going to be? Well, log base 4 of 16 is 2. So we got 2. Over here, there's 10, there's 2, and then just draw the line. It's already there, but that's how you do f of x. You could do similar things for these. Think of powers of 5, think of powers of 7. For these other two, I don't believe you can fit 3 points. You can do 2. All right, so that is just going over some of the homework. The back of this sheet, this section we already did. This is exactly from the notes. This down here should be relatively easy. Now we're going to do the stuff from worksheet 3. There it is. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple of these with you. So same kind of thing, and really worksheet 3 is a nice summary of everything you'd probably see on the skill check. So as far as things you see on the skill check, something like this, kind of basic, where they ask you domain, x-intercept, increasing, decreasing, maybe a sketch. And then, well, it takes care of the front page, but then on the back, I think, yeah, so this will be critical, probably a focus kind of question where they give you the graph and you got to say what the function is. We'll do one of those. And then inverse. This should be actually pretty easy, so hopefully that's not a problem for you. So I'm going to plan is to do one of these and then one of these on the front, maybe 2. All right, and then you'll be on your way. So if you start with this this first one here, ln, I know you guys get all weirded out by ln, but remember that just means log base e and then x minus 2. All right, so this thing right here, when we think domain, we could even answer this question without even sketching anything quite yet. What's the parent the parent function? That would be 0 to infinity. But what happened to it? It got shifted 2 to the right. So holy moly, 2, comma, infinity. Look, we're already a third of the way there. All right, x-intercept. All right, so this will be a little spicier, but not too bad. Normally we cross at 1, comma 0. Not anymore, kids or whatever. 2 to the right, we're at 3, comma 0. Can you believe it? Not even a sketch and we're already 2/3 of the way there. Increasing, decreasing. Well, if you're a pro, you can maybe answer this right away, but you know, maybe we're still have the amateur status and that's all right. We might want to get a little drawing going for ourselves. So we got this, coordinate system, asymptote at 2, 1, 2, imaginary line, x-intercept here. All right, so you want to think to yourself, all right, is this going to be, or like what's this going to look like? Well, remember what the parent function looks like. Comes up this way, goes through there, looks like that. All right. Exact points, you could find them, but for our purposes here, not really necessary. So what else do we have here? Well, another way you can kind of figure it out is there's no negative up front. If there's a negative up front, like we'll see here and probably some other places, it would flip and it would come down like this. But that is not what's happening. So is this increasing, decreasing? Well, it starts from low and goes high, so it is an increase. All right, so there you go. There's that one. Let's do another one. How about, oh, getting real weird. How about we go, oh, this one over here. How about number 5? All right, so we got log base 5 of x. So how do you do that? Well, again, we can answer some questions without even doing any picture drawing here. We got log base 5 of x plus 4. What's the domain? Remember, domain's only affected by things inside the function. There's nothing inside there, so it is the same as the parent function. So you can always write those, you know, kind of easy ones down first and then worry about the harder ones later. Now, the x-intercept, that is going to be more difficult because, of course, it started at 1, comma 0, but then we got some shifting going on. Vertical shift is going to be all weird now. Here's how you do it. You go, well, x-intercept is when y is 0, so you go 0 is equal to this stuff, log base 5 of x plus 4. You're going to subtract 4 from both sides, minus 4, log base 5 of x. All right, so we have that. And then we want to rewrite this, right? How do you rewrite a log as an exponential? We know how to do that. 5 to the negative 4 power equals x. 5 to the negative 4 power equals x. There you go. Oh, what is this? Well, this means 1 over 5 to the 4th. So, what is 5 to the 4th? Anybody? Anybody? 1 over 625, you are correct. Alright, and then there you go. A little bit more work. We kind of saw it on the other page, but this is the x-intercept. We got ourselves 1 over 625, comma 0. Hot dog. Alright, now increasing, decreasing. Once again, there's no flipping here, right? There's no flips. So that means it has the same kind of, general structure as the parent function. So it is going to be an increase. Increase. Look at that. Beautiful. How about one more? What about this madness? Look at this. ln has some stuff on the inside, vertical shift, total chaos. Let's see if we can do anything about it. Well, once again, let's try to answer some stuff. What's this first line? Domain. So domain, any shifting going on? No, right? We got this half in there, but that is not making it go left or right or anything. So that is just going to be a simple 0 to infinity. All right, what else we got going on? We can actually answer this last one first as well, or also before we do any drawings, because this thing, again, no flips, right? No flips. That half, that's not going to affect our general shape. Plus 6 not going to matter. So what's it going to do? It's going to go from low to high, just like the one we just did. It's going to be an increase. There you go. And now just the x-intercept. This will take a little work. All right, so what we got to do is, of course, well, x-intercept is when x is equal, or y is equal to 0. So 0 equals all this business. 1/2 x plus 6. Move the 6 over. Negative 6 is equal to ln, natural log of 1/2 x. All right, now careful. Again, secure your big boy pants. What you got to do is rewrite this as an exponential. So log, natural log, base e, right? E to the negative 6 is equal to this stuff, 1/2 x. All right, what else do we got? Well, we have to divide both sides by 1/2. Dividing both sides of it by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by 2. So we are going to get 2e to the negative 6 is equal to x. So we have that. You can clean this up a little bit, hopefully you recognize, because this is the same as 2 over e to the 6. All right, and this will be your x-intercept. Not a very nice number, but a number nonetheless. You got 2 over e to the 6, comma 0. And there you go. So see if you can do the other ones. I don't think they're too bad. This one's kind of similar to this one. Actually, this one's easier. All right, so we have that one. What else do we have? All right, let's see that. Back page. Oh, yes. Look at this. It's the last thing I'll do with you. All right, what else we have? F, H, and G. Which one is looking the spiciest? I would say probably, I don't know, H maybe. Let's look at H. So h of x is equal to, all right, well, what happened to this thing? Something happened to it. It's going to be, well, a log of some sort. So you can kind of get your general template, right? Log, there might be something in front. That's why I left a space. I'm going to leave a space here for my base, space here for any shifting that might have happened. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. All right, so this thing right here, we got, well, parent function kind of looks like this f of x thing, right? Except it should be over here. So what happened to it? Obviously flipped. So what you can do is you can get a negative going for yourself right up front. All right, we got that done. Any shifting left or right? Well, this thing is now crossing at negative 3. It should be crossing at 1. So what happened? It got shifted left 4. So that is not a minus 4, but a plus 4. There you go. The only thing left is the base. Can you believe we're almost done? Look at this. All right, so you got to search out another point. So how about this one? Negative 2, we put in negative 2 and we get out a negative 1. That's interesting. All right, well, let's just call this a B for right now. We get out a negative 1. So negative 1 is what this thing is equal to when you have negative log of unknown base and we plug in a negative 2. Negative 2 plus 4. All right, well, negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So you got negative 1 is equal to negative log unknown base of 2. All right. Well, from here we can also do another thing. Divide out the negative, right? Divide negative 1 both sides. You're going to get 1 is equal to log base b of 2. Hopefully you recognize what this is, what b should be. B to the first power equals 2. And that means b equals 2. And that's everything you need. You can put it all together. So our final answer will be h of x is equal to negative log base 2 of x plus 4. All right, so there you go. Now, that is one possible answer. There is actually another one for you cool cats who want to know. I won't explain it, but another way you could write this is log base a half of x plus 4. These two things are equivalent. This is probably the one that might be a little easier to recognize, but whatever you want to do, this is also okay. All right, and there you go. All right, so you got an example of that. I think you should be good with this. Remember, all you got to do here is switch x and y. Put x there, y there, and then solve for y again. All right, so hopefully you can handle that. This will be due by the end of the period, or you really have to later on, but there'll be a folder for it online. All right, so just try to do this. I don't want to be hearing any whining when I get back on, well, I guess it'll probably be Thursday. That like, oh, I didn't know how to do any of this. Well, yeah, did you watch the video? Did you try anything? Did you Google anything? Did you converse with an algebro? Okay, many options here, folks. All right, don't be a helpless little, one of those people. All right, so here you go. Try it out.